Sanibonani bafethu, igama lami nguMoses lena isisonke podcast network bafethu. Namhlanje sihleli la on the rocks. Ndinawo manzi siwaphethe bafethu, purified water, filtered purified water bafethu. Namhlanje ngihleli nomnikazi wala. Simvakashele i-guest yethu. Uyu umuntu ozozazisa ukuthi ubani ubuyaphi kanjani bafethu. Sure Brateps.
Ita, how's it?
Mnandi.
Ni sure.
Sure. Sicela usintroduce ukuthi ubani and ubuyaphi.
So Shilo nguTebuho, but yeah, most people knows me as Umphoselepe, and yeah, as you said, ukuthi sizekhaya. So basically this is where we do this brand, OTR Brands, our purified premium still water. We process, we filter, we bottle in this vicinity where we are now. Igama lami, most people they know me as Mpho. Igama lami leskela Mpho. Igama leskola Mpho. And then yes, at home I'm uTebuho. And yeah, I grew up in the township. Ngazalelwe eNatalspruit, eKatlehong, and then we used to hlala kula section Eboma Park, Epoko, and then we moved towards this side. I think I was slightly had grown. And then yeah, I'm from around here, grew up like Lokshini. And then yeah, now that life has obviously progressed. Angisahlali la eKasi, but yeah, I'm bred and born around like Lokshini.
Okay. Sure, Brateps, awusitshela ukuthi yini into inspire i-journey yakho?
So and I think ukuthi if I may put it blunt, it's not really blunt, but I guess it's something that almost every person who grows up in the township goes through. Mina, what really drove to be the person that I am, it's the way I grew up. I come from a very poor background. We grew up living in a shack, Mkukwini. Yeah. And sihlala sibomai, I think our siblings and cousins and my aunt and my mom, we used to stay in the same one-room shack. So that led me to thinking, Guti, you know what, we really need to, I really need to change that life. And for me, the only way I knew at the time was through education. So what really drove me was I wanted to make sure, Guti, in the end, I become a better person, and not only that, but so that then also my kids, they grow up to become better people.
Yes. So, what values did your upbringing insist in you that still guide you today?
Humility, Mfethu. Humility. I think I was raised by a family that didn't have much, and when I say much, I mean like we had nothing growing up, Mfethu. We beslala singadlanga at times, sivuke singazi ukuthi what we gonna eat. But one thing that I was taught by my family and my siblings was that we need to be humble. You know, you need to be humble and always remember, Uguti, tomorrow will be a better day. You know, because that's how we survived. I mean, I remember even Khotman Lami and may God rest his soul, he passed away. He used to tell me, Uguti, even if today's Lala Singadlanga, he will say to me, Uguti, you know what, don't worry, Mvana, tomorrow will be better. You know, and at the time you wouldn't understand how, but at the end of the day you knew, Guti, there was that thing that was instilled in you to saying, if today didn't work out, rest assured, Guti, tomorrow it will work out. Yeah, it will be better.
Okay, so who were the people who influenced and inspired you when you were young?
You know, the sad part is, growing up in Lokshini, you don't really have ama role models that in my time, because chances are you and I are role models to the young ones, which is great. But for me, I think Uguti, I grew up at a time whereby I did not really have many role models because number one, I grew up without my dad, so he wasn't there. Yeah, Number two, I only grew up with my siblings, my cousins, and being raised by my aunt. My mom was always at work. Well, obviously, she was the one who was working to support us. So I didn't really have a role model. But I can tell you this, Suguti, I started gaining ama interest in how my teachers were, especially the male teachers, because those are the people that I'll say, if anything, I would like to be like them, you know. And mind you, remember, Eskela, you only see these people most at class. You don't know their life outside this scale. But for me, it was that thing, Yoguti. If anything, I want to be like these people who's going to inspire young children, who going to inspire young kids and really impart skills to make these young kids better. So I'll say, Yoguti, in a way, for me, the role models that I really had on a daily basis was Eskela. And for me, I think that's what actually made me also I had this affinity for school, and really do well at school.
Yeah, enjoy school. Alright, so growing up, did you ever imagine yourself becoming a scientist?
Yo, you know. Yes. So you know what's interesting is being a scientist. Number one, there needs to be, and unfortunately, again, the disadvantage of growing a location and not having resources. Some of us, we knew about scientists when you're sitting in class. Back there's somebody called an engineer.
Yeah.
There's somebody. I'm a doctor. It's people that you'll know go to Kemankula and doctor. Yeah. But nobody would sit you down and say, Mfanagiti, for you to become a doctor, this is what you need to do. Same thing with the scientist. So, Mina, because I had this thing, Skela, that I really liked about me. I don't know. Maybe it's because Ekaya, I didn't really have much going for me. Yeah. So I always enjoyed Uba Skela and Betlasin and all of that. So, becoming a scientist, honestly, I think Guti, when I was in high school, I think from grade 10, we started doing my assignments. And I remember one of the assignments, it took me to go to the Pamridge library. Yeah. And then I took this book, and that book was a book about geography, but there was a section where we had, it was talking about rocks, rocks. Yeah. And then I did the assignment on that. Little did I know, Oguti, it was actually telling me, Oguti Mfana, you're talking about different types of rocks.
Yeah.
This is actually the part you're going to take. At the time, I didn't even know there was a study called Geologist or geology at the time. So I submit the assignment, I forget about it. My life goes on. But one thing that I liked about Iskela Sami, where I went, especially the high school, there was teachers that really noticed, Oguti, I've got ambitions. No, it's Jabulile secondary high school Mleleki. That's why I went from 2002 to 2006. I finished my matric there. So what happened is there was teachers Lapa Eskela. I remember we had Mr. Mtijwa, I remember we had Abu Mislubi, and we had Abu Miss Mufukeng and Abu Miss Kanyele. Those were people that were really there. I mean, Abu Minier, Abu Mkatani, and Abu Mwepe. Those were people that really, for me, I think they played a role, because they were people that, even though at times I didn't see it in me, but they always saw something in me. You know what? Lentwana Lengatis got a bright future. Yeah. Sure. So at times, one of the teachers would arrange for us to go to events. Events would have things like debates, And then when you walk into vets, a campus, you start seeing all these things. There's engineering building. Okay, there's medicine. There's this, and then you start asking yourself, what are these things? Yeah. And then I think my career and becoming a scientist came about after I had to go to a university. And Nakona being a university to write for what they call it was a preaching course, University of Pretoria. And then when I did my first year, again same thing happens. The chemistry teacher, Umi Smith, comes in class to lecture us. I put a box of minerals, and that's when I knew about geology basically. And then it kicked in with, oh, wait a minute. So there's this thing that's called geology. and it's a science study and whatnot. And then that's when I think my decision was made. You know what, I'm gonna become a geologist, and that's how I was. But I think the influence really started from a high school, because I'm not gonna lie to you, being in the township, it's a disadvantage, because number one, we don't have these resources. Akekho umuntu who comes to emalokishini uyazokhuthaza athi ntwana bheka, you need to go study electrical engineering, or you need to go and become a biologist. I mean, you can walk outside line and come up across anyone in the street and say to them, do you know what is a botanist? They'll tell you, I don't know. But you only find this information if somebody had really shared that information. Yeah, what? Yes, things like those, and that's the information that we need. And unfortunately, that information, and I think it's up to the people like us to say, we always come back election and then we say, guys, Mina, this is what I do. I'm not saying do what I'm doing, but there's opportunities out there. And the other thing that kills, I think, the ambition and it really distinguishes the fire in some of the young people. It's because they don't have access to these resources. And I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying, being a Lokishini, that's what it does to you. You don't have that outlet. You can go out and find out this information. Unless, again, for example, I know AUP, University of Pretoria, would go out to schools and then we do what we call career guidance.
I'm a career guidance.
You know, those that's actually the only time where you'll have somebody ezagini and nakona ukuthola kuphi seclassini azokukhuthaza ukuthi ntwana, there's something that we call electronic engineering, there's something that we call a mathematician, there's somebody who's a mathematician, he's got a degree in maths. And last starting there's so many kids who are good in maths, but they don't know that there's somebody who's a physicist, there's somebody who's got radiology. Do you even know what is called radiology? No, you don't, because nobody came to me and told me what there's something called radiology. So yeah, I think
like teaching,
yes, doctor, nursing,
then
yes, a police maybe, security.
No, police is not a career. I cannot call it as a career, because actually once you finish your matric,
you must apply. Yes. Yeah, so I think it's that disadvantage. We don't have that information coming to us. I think I was fortunate, because the other thing, bengithanda izinto mfethu. Mina bengithi mangiseskela, mangizobakhuluma ngevet ngithi ndithi kwenzakala nevet. Ngithi ngibaleni. Yes, that is. But yeah, that's, I think, also the curiosity mfethu. If you don't have the curiosity and being inquisitive, I'd like to learn more about something. You know, you're not gonna get it anyway. You need to be that person, you've got that thing, I'm curious. What is happening out there? Yini lengayazi enzakala eSentin. Mfethu, gibeli text usukela ukugibeli text uye Sentin. Just roam around Sentin. And say ukuthi mawubuya la, will you still be thinking the same? Young tall. Gibeli text mfethu usukelana uye maybe a 4 ways. You figure 4 ways and then you just sit, maybe if you say pi c2 pi, and just sit there and then just see the life there. You start saying, man, wait a minute, there's a life outside acres. No.
Different.
Yes, and the other thing is that I normally tell people, once you have the opportunity, but I'm not saying puma ekas and leave ilogishi because ilogishi is not good for you. But because of how Ilogish is set up, you're never going to be able to progress. Yeah, once you get that opportunity to go to Pume, then Ubui. Yeah, because then that way, you're going to start seeing the life on the other side, and then you're able to come back. So I think into a shire of and I know some resources are not there for everyone. They can afford to go to Muntapume. I think that also helps. What that does is it changes the way you get to think, because then most of the you only think the same way. You don't even think about it when you do it. So many joys, you don't even think about it. But once you're in a different place, your brain starts thinking and starts seeing things in a different way. Yes.
Okay, so yini lesino ifundile kazi?
Yo, mfethu, one thing I learned about Ikasi, mfethu, Ikasi will teach you how to be resilient. Over resilient and you know how to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ikasi, mfethu, we get to a point whereby you realize ukuthi uyahlupheka. You starve, you don't have clothes, ekhaya kinabana next, but you find a way to survive. Now, unfortunately for other people, their way to survive would be probably put themselves in a position whereby they start committing crime. Others, they just decide to, you know what, I'm gonna start a business.
Yeah.
But Ikasi mfethu, what it does is it teaches you resilience. You are able to wake up every day and keep going, no matter the circumstances. That's one thing that I can tell you. Ukuthi mfethu, Ikasi is the best lesson that it will teach you. It will teach you how to survive. Whether you survive in a right way, where you're helping other people or you're helping yourself, or where you survive in the wrong way, where you really become a pain to other people and yourself. But what it will teach you is resilience.
Sure. So, was there a turning point in your life where you decided you wanted more for yourself?
Yeah, mina mfethu, I've got my siblings. Abantu engikhule nabo, uMpho, uTsepiso, so those will tell you ukuthi number one, I was very competitive from a young age. So I always wanted more in my life because I felt ukuthi I deserve it anyway. And the thing with me is I always knew how to get more.
Yeah, like you were competitive, like
in almost everything. I can tell you something. I think we are mazu Umpho ne. Umpho. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. Umpho is good at soccer. Yeah. He was better than me at soccer. But because I knew I've got speed than him.
Yeah.
Whenever we played soccer, I wouldn't dribble him. But bengdegitiskida ngithi masiye then ngimshi. But bengazi ukuthi mengaphethe ibhola either ngiyamkhaba, you know, things like those. So besana ugenza maybe sidlala ngemoto zamadrati, my car will always look better. I mean, uTsepiso, if he was here, would tell you ukuthi mina imoto yami ebusuku beba namalight.
Yeah.
I was that person. So basically, I knew that I wanted more from a very young age. I knew ukuthi I always deserved and I'll always work hard to get something better in my life. So I think from a young age, I had that drive within me to say, I want more. And here's the thing that I learned from there until now.
Yeah.
You'll always want more, but you'll never get them more. Because once you get to a certain level, there's something more that you want. You get to that, there's something more. If you get a time, watch one of Will Smith's videos where he spoke about as an actor, he made millions, if not billions. But he got to a point whereby he felt like there's something missing.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to that point whereby you want more, you get more. But the question is, what is more? Yeah, but Mina, just to answer your question, I knew that I wanted more when I was probably from 8, 9, growing up. And then when I got to high school, I realized the only way I could change my life was through education. And here's the thing, I didn't know how, but I knew if I get good grades, somebody out there will pick it up. Somebody out there will figure it out. There's this person who's got good grades, we need to get it. And that's what actually happened. So with me, I always said that thing, if I'm doing something now, let me do it to the best of my capability. If I fail, I know that I've done everything. Because it doesn't help you do something and then when you fail, you sit with the resentment and the regret. I could have done, but I could have done more. I could have taken 3 more steps. So even as a scaler, when I was in high school, I knew if I get distinctions in my metric results, somebody out there will see that and showcase. That's what happened.
Yeah.
And then when I got to university, I realized university what will do it will level you, ne? It will put you on level terms with abantu abaphuma from one of the best schools, because at the end of the day you write the same paper.
Yeah.
But it will depend who's smart, because there's people who are smart. Kunabantu ufunda something I want and then they can memorize it and then they can go right. And then there's me who has to work 150%. But I knew ukuthi for me to get there, I need to work 150%. So even when I was at varsity, I told myself, number one, I'm not gonna leave varsity without walking away with a degree. That's when I knew I wanted more. And that drive has always been there. There's never gonna be a time where I'm gonna give up. So the other thing is, I've got this thing with, if I start something, I finish it. Start something, finish it.
Yeah.
Go all the way.
Okay, so what advice would you give to a young growing up in a township who want to succeed?
I think the advice I would give to a young person in this township who wants to survive, who wants to succeed, is number one, know exactly where you want to be. Right? Because that then will give you basically the cardinal point, the direction to say, that's where I'm going. And then number two, do not limit yourself with the resources that you have. What do I mean with that is, do not allow the circumstances that you are in limit you. Like I said earlier on,
yeah.
if you have to go to Kibeli takes your percent,
your
bag,
yeah.
Do it. Because what that does is it changes your perspective of how you see things. And inspire yourself. That's one thing that I think probably I missed in my life. But now I've started doing it more now that I'm at this point in my life. Inspire yourself. If you want to see yourself having a car, have that car in here. Put it up on a wall if you have to. If you want to live in a certain suburb and you can find it on a picture, put it on your wall, in your bedroom, or lapha ewardrobe yakho emnyango ngaphakathi every day maqeda ugezwe uyayibona that thing will start motivating you. But the other thing is, have the drive and the passion to say, nothing can stop me, because really nothing can stop you. But then I think in this day in life, the youngsters, they grow up with the whole thing, somebody's coming to rescue me. And unfortunately, guys, as you can see in our country, our government, there's not much that is really happening, that is really supporting the youngsters. So what I would say is, have the drive, have the passion, and no does not mean that you failed. It means that look elsewhere. That's what it means. If you come to me, I say no to you, it means go to Moses. If Moses says no, it means that go to Altilap. That's what it means. And don't give up. Don't give up. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes time, but eventually it will happen. But what you need, it's the drive, the passion, and making sure and understanding what you know exactly what you want to achieve.
Sure. How important was education in changing direction of your life?
It was very important. And like I said, Uguti, in my life, I knew Uguti, I was gonna change my life, my background, through education.
Sure.
And how I knew is because I could see sometimes on the news, on TV, Makpuma matric results. Back then, obviously, my results were put on the newspaper, right? Yes, and then Bapaledas. So I could see Uguti, on the news, they will say, Uguti, Echauten, there was this top 10 guys who did well, and they'll put their names and everything, So for me, that told me, Uguti, look, Untwana, if you're doing well, somebody will see you. Yes, I didn't become number one in 2006. I didn't become number one in Gauteng in terms of my matric results, none. But there was a person who actually picked up my results. I don't know how. Yeah, well, and just to take you through that. So what happened is, I wrote my matric. I finished, and then after finishing my matric, late November. December, at the time the results were coming out in December. So December the results come out, and luckily enough, I managed to get a job at ShopRite there.
Yeah.
So I started working as a shelf packer there. And most people don't know that. They see me as a scientist, they're thinking, good, you just get there. In fact, before I started working at ShopRite, I was a cleaner in the offices, a Centurion, a ShopRite, because my mom used to work for a ShopRite, so it was much easier for her to get me this spanning. Yes, so I started working there in December. I started working at Centurion. I was a cleaner. I was cleaning there in my office. You know, ngifaka amadaring, phetha mahuva nemishanelo nan. So I was cleaning. I just finished my matric. And then January, early Jan, I get a call from this lady, Ubuya from SAICA. SAICA is the South African Institute of Civil Engineers. SAICE, not SAICA, SAICE. SAICE. She calls me, she's like, I got your results, I think from the district. So when I went there, I could see that you're in the top 50 people. So I would like to take you. You see now, I found out then I was top 50. So he says, I'm taking top 50 guys, I'm taking you to UJ. Mfuna bantu who gonna go write an entrance exam for civil engineers. So she arranges the transport for us. Yes, we transport starter. We go and then bring the out here. My very close friend from high school, Upata. That one was good. My numbers here is untouchable. if he's watching, he's probably laughing. But yeah, we go a UJ. Must figure UJ. It's top 50 us, but there's other people from other places. So we're more than 50 now. And I think they wanted only 20 people. They wanted only top 20. So we go, we write maths, physics, and sakumbuli not what other paper we wrote. We come back, we find out we didn't make it. Yeah, well. While I'm working at so immediately I find a job. It starts the ShopRite, they just opened last start. So I'm like, hey, good shot. I move and say Centurion is saying I go pay it. I Spanish. This very same lady comes back because like, hey, Ntwana, Lapa AUJ, you did not make it, but you were in the top 50. Yeah, AUJ. I'm like, oh, okay. So she's like to me, manje ngifuna ukuthi say a University of Pretoria.
Yeah.
To go write the same exam, entrance exam, so that then you can become what? A civil engineer. So I'm like, okay, sharp. She arranges a transport for us. Nyasuka ngibeli taxi lana ngiyakhumbula ngibela ngale inkathi lezi. What time is it? Around 3:30 ngaya eWarathambo kwafika masifika eWarathambo vele sihlanganele eWarathambo. I think we were like 20 of us. And then 30 basi wasifaka in a guest house safika sagidla. In fact, the night before, Joe. So the lady asked us, stayed in a big table. We are supposed to one by one. So guys, how do you feel about tomorrow? Hi people, yabo balewa shumuntu yazkulmela. No, I think I'm gonna make it. No, we'll see tomorrow. But yeah, hopefully we're gonna make it. I mean, out me I was like, I'm in. I'm gonna get in that program. And people laughed, at the time. I was like, yeah, they didn't. But I think it was that thing you would say, Ntwana, you're too ambitious. But that was me. That thing you would, if I'm saying I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. So I'm like, no, I'm in. I'm gonna get in that program. We get there. Vetulapa, they wanted 72 people. There was 1,200 of us that were writing. So we're writing 3 papers. It's a Saturday, in fact, on that day. We're writing 3 papers. We finish, they give us lunch. And then they're saying, okay, guys, we're only going to take 72 people. So we will call you next week after we marked if you did well. And here's the thing, with the exams that we wrote them. It was not really about the physics, like they'll ask you those technical physics questions and maths. They'll ask you questions. They just want you to think outside the box. So I think that's how I made it. And then we write, we finish. They come back. They drop me off. I think they drop me off at Jimmy Steening at 30 takes. I forget about it. The following week, so I'm like, man, let me call these guys. Investor Pretoria.
Sure.
When I called this lady at the reception, young boss, what's your number? So there was a number. Baba's kama number. Ma figure la person yam kai number. So utigimi, if it's a you are in. If it's a B, you're not. So I nyambuza ngite, okay, no, I'm checking my results. No, I see your results say it's A. I'm like, yeah? No, it's A, you made it. I'm like, what? By the way, I'm calling it a Tuesday. Before the weekend, you're gonna get a letter that says you've been admitted to University of Pretoria. you must come to school. I'm fine. I sing as Kawanga, my Pelamaya span. And then income. I'm getting a for. I think I was getting paid 435 a week. If it be Mali that time. Don't full the account. So a part of me, I get to a point. I'm like, ugh. Okay, so yafigi later, and hasn't phone ngupi kabo buknale container cleaning ai kabo kana kabo bandendana le container angisho bese Spanish ama public phones.
Yeah.
So mangiphuma raso ngiyala pendlini ngiyotshela uantu wami ngithi phela labantu laba bathe they've taken me a scale. Okay, so hamba nini ngithi hayi zobona. You know what happened when I Moses so I continue going to work. So the following week is the 12th Jan. All the first years must report to University. Eres. Ay, mina ntwana ngiyajikeleza. Shoot manje ngiyazibala. Manje sengiyoeskela sengizoluza le mali.
Yo.
Ayibona lele. So kunzima mama. I'm like, no, this is not happening.
And iskele sokuthatha isikhathi eside.
Yeah, I'm like, indoda ngisayosibanga. And manje ngifuna ngiyogeleza vie. And manje ngibe ngikhuzuka ngasikudala like no, I'm not gonna do that. But a part of me is like, okay, so I just forget about it. I continue ngespan. You know what happened one day? Because eShoprite laba ngispan khona bospana ngama shift yabo. Bokuba namalanga whereby you take a day off. You are off because bospana ma 12 hours yabo.
Sure.
Bospana 8 to 8. Angisho shop ivula 8 to 8.
Yeah.
So I think E12 comes eres by phone. Endotukuphi ngithi hayi ngizozwaka. Yabo. And then I sabathumela ama message ngara admin but endoda phela manje akafika esikela. Where are you? I'm like no. So you know what happened? One day I was off. I think it was a Tuesday. Ngithengisalele uma olady wafika wanokha raso emnyango because lapha ekhaya we had umkhukhu one but myself and my brothers build omunye umkhukhu bomncane but on the side yeah ikamera yes. So because thina majida besilala ngadaso and then uma olady wafika wanokha la bengisalele wanokha and then wavula wathi one guy 5 tiger wathi kimi endoda na imali yesikela mangibuya la ngakuthola khona and ema eksasa kumele ngespanini. I'm like Makrizo shukuthini wathi mangibuya I mustn't find you here.
Yo.
Ay and yabona ngithi uyadlala mangiphuma mangena endlini mangiphuma ngala emkhukhwini mangithi ngena endlini ngaraso ngithola ukuthi upakile upakile ama textbook wama sesikela wafaka ebhegini wathatha benginenye radio nyana ye-CD wayibeka raso nengubo nomqamelo wasifaka ebhegini maqeda lapho washare bukune idirect ida ifile nyana raso wathi things all things umuntu serious entwana sengihlela ngiyavuka ngithi hey man yenza ayazi you know what I did ngageza 30 back. In fact, I felt bad. Like honestly, that day in fact I was hurt because I felt like ukuthi uMakriza uyangiguza yabo. So 30 into zami 30 bag ngathatha school bag ngathatha ingubo nomqamelo ngabamba itaxi Jimistin efike Jimistin and that time it takes to Jimistin I think was 7 rand or something like that ngafika raso ngabamba itaxi I think was 18 rand from Pretoria to Jimistin to Pretoria.
Yeah.
Emangifika ePretoria nara I think 8 rand ukusuka lapho kuEvarsity. Bethu ngafika eVarsity bangilindile. Bangifika lapha bathi Mr Slap uza ngena ngapha na room yakho bangika into zama first day ngashintsha. And then ngithe mangifika I think wa phone uma late because bengine phone.
Yeah.
Endodukuphi ngithi ngiseVarsity uthi kimi uzodinga malini for izinto ze into zokugeza na because iRes they were going to pay for tuition nokudla ne accommodation yabo which is iRes. So ngithi no my lady for clip izoba grand just to push me for a month. In fact I don't know but because beka Spanish Centurion driver yasuka la lethi for clip same day angazi ukuthi ithole because bonga si month end I mean it's mid month yafika for clip intwana and the same day in fact before my lady phone ngihlangana nezinye intwana le ntwana lezi ayazibona ukuthi azimnandi zibuma from very well off family intwana we go to KFC nemasifike KFC da KFC at the time I remember was 12 rand 50 streetwise too ne amajita ya order lapho ngithe mangikhipha la isandi mangithi esa ngiphethe 9 rand 50 I couldn't afford amajita ndoda ayabhaya lapha ayakhomba ntwana mina ngifune ntwana I felt bad ntwana I really felt bad but that was just the beginning yabo and then from there it happened ukuthi I stay and then wangithumela again in fact she didn't send it the same day she sent it month end because yathi mega hola wathi na inyuku wathumela idriver vele idriver sesentshureni wazakalisa lenyuku I then ngabhayi into zonke mfethu I think ever since ngiseva sithi my lady used to send me 4 clipper every month noma i4 clipper besengekho enough because it was like 3-4 years later uthi kimi wena wathi ufuna 400 yeah at some point I ended up ngimtshele ngithi my lady asengasayithumeli because nami sengiyakhona ukuthi ngisihlanganise but basically I'm telling you this story to say ntwana for me to get to a point where I am there's a lot of things that happened yabo
sure
and really via education nani really got me to to where I am today.
So ngicela ukubuza siphume kancane ngoba ngiyabona sesiserious kakhulu manje inside zekasi bekenzakalani
mfethu
azange zidisturb or
mfethu ithi ngikutshele one thing most people they didn't believe mangibatshela ukuthi I drink alcohol even now whenever I come people they ask me do you drink I'm like yeah they're like I don't look like you drink I mean I felt there was a time bengibshaya nje abo mabureni they know abo samito abo thulana abo specu abo thulani okathwala they know jo inside mfethu I mean you will realize ukuthi eskela I had obviously you know a high school so but for me it was that thing ukuthi I knew how to really make time for what so I'd make time ukuthi okay mengaba ma weekends then I can go ngestratini ngihlangane nabantu ngiyenze lento lezo ukuthi ngiyahamba ngiyobheka ubani nani but when it was during the week and that's the thing with me mina during the week in fact I had like maybe ngibuye skela ngabo ma 3 sengifikile u4 ngiwasha amasheti ngiyapolisha 4:30 ngiyasuka ngiyale khumalo ngiyodlala idisc ngiyajima maybe up until boma 7 o'clock ngiyabuya I mean that time sokumnyama yabo ngifike endlini ngiyageza ngiyadla maybe ngishaya homework mengabe ngine homework ngiyagidla ekseni same thing the only time I honestly had was ngama Fridays you didn't need to go to wash amasheti as with the Saturday and Sunday yabo but yeah no amfethu ayinsize amfethu bezingangibhayizisi mina mfethu bengulo muntu lokuthi bengazi ukuthi yabona manje ngifocusela hayi okunye makume kancane mangisuka la ngifocusala la lokhu makume kancane
indaba zemigo nani uthi uyaphazamisa
next mfana next
okay so what inspired you to start a business after becoming a scientist
mfethu let me just give you a brief background. So my business, I know most people don't believe this, but Intlitz Holdings as a business is going to be turning 10 years next year. Meaning that I started a business in 2017. I think again out of curiosity and out of the drive, Yoguti, one day I want to be my own boss, and not only that, but one day I also want to manage people, right? So what inspired me to really start my business was also to seeing that I come from a career where in mining as a geologist I worked in mines. I used to work for a coal mine in Witbank. I worked there for 5 years as a geologist. You won't believe this, but most of the work that we did as the geoscientists in the mine, especially in small mines. In a small mine, as a geologist, you are a geologist who manages what happens where they're mining the coal. All the way where it goes to the plant where it gets processed, all the way where it goes to be stockpiled, from being stockpiled and out of the gate to the client, which is Eskom and all other people. Yeah.
Explain what a geologist is.
Yes, yeah. So I think I fit to that. Actually, that's a good point. So a geologist is a scientist who studied the formation of rocks, different types of rocks. So you are a scientist who understands how all the different types of rocks have formed and how did they form. From when they are in gaseous state to solid state to liquid state, all those different types of state. And because you're in South Africa as a geologist, when you're being trained to become a geologist by a university, then you get trained to say, these different types of rocks, this is where you find them. I'll give you an example. You'll find coal in South Africa on the eastern part of South Africa towards the south. There's no coal mines in the northwest in there because there was never conditions that really allowed for that, because there was no formation of the basin that created. So you being trained as a geologist, those are the things that you get trained. But as a geologist, basically what you do is you know and understand where do which minerals occur. Minerals such as coal, gold, diamonds, manganese, iron ore, all these type of commodities. That's what you as a geologist know. And then there's also the geologists who become who work in ground stability. Ground stability is, if let's say they're going to be building a mall, they'll call a geologist to say, please come test the ground for us and tell us if the ground, what is it that is required to make sure that when we build this big mall, it will stand, things like those. But yeah, being a geologist, basically it's the science where you learn about different types of rocks and how they formed. And then maybe just to go back to the initial question, Yoguti, why did I start the business? So basically for me, I started the business because I realized, Yoguti, in the mining industry, my work as a geologist, the work and my skills and my expertise that I offered in this particular company created millions for them. And I know those millions, there's also expenses that come back to paying me as an employee and all of that. Not only that, I worked. The work that I did was so crucial that I could see that if I wasn't here, yes, they would find somebody to do the same work. But if at the time I wasn't there, chances are the company wouldn't make money. And companies make billions. So for me to start a business was that thing which I can use this very same skills that I'm offering to people. Because remember now, when you're working, you are rendering your services for exchange of money. Basically, you are selling your time to someone else to make money for them in whatever business model they have, and then they pay you. And here's the tough part that I find tough. It's not for everyone. I do something and then you make, let's say, 100 million. Of which I know that one of the companies that I work for, they made more than 100 million in that particular year. And when I know what they give you, the same salary that you agreed and you signed for, which is fair because at the end of the day, that's what we agreed on. And sometimes in this small company, they'll not even give you a bonus to say, here's a 100% bonus that we want to give you so that then you can have the thingy that you've created value for us. Yeah. So for me, it was that thing. Look, I've got skills. I'm trained. I've got experience. I've been in the industry for more than a decade, 12 years and counting, being a geologist. And I've done so many deliverables for the business that I work for. Why don't I do it for myself? And then that's when I decided that I'm going to do it for myself. And I'm not saying it's easy doing it yourself, but that's what then drove me to say, as a scientist, let me start my own business. Now, under this business, the other thing is, I think if maybe you've seen one of my videos where I talk about diversifying your business. The reason why I ended up also starting the water purification and bottling a business is because I wanted to diversify, to say, when the season on the other side is low, I know that this side, it will keep going. If this side is low, I know the other side. So basically, it's just to balance out and make sure, in terms of cash flow, you're also stable. Because if you only have one business, Ksasala, for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say you drive a Bolt. If tomorrow they decide to go to the petrol price is high, you're not making money, and you don't have any other business, you're stuck. Yeah, but so that is why then I decided, I'm gonna start my own business. Use the same skills that I have, to really pay myself. And at this point, I can pay myself, and then I can employ people to pay, and then I become the boss that I always wanted to be. You understand? So yeah, what really motivated me was the fact that I've got skills. Why not do it for myself?
Okay. So, what does it take to move from being an employee? We've just explained that, right? We're gonna skip it. What does success mean to you beyond money and achievement?
Success to me means freedom, choice, and time.
Yeah.
So for me, if I've got the freedom to do whatever I want any time of the day,
Yeah.
when I wake up, I decide to go today, new swim. I go swimming.
Sure.
For me, that's success. The choice. What is it that I want? If I can decide today, you know what? Today I don't want to stay in Gauteng. I can go stay in the Northern Cape, or I can go stay in the Eastern Cape, or I can go stay in Limpopo. That's the choice I have. Nothing is tying me down. Right? The most important one, time. I own my own time. You know, when you're working,
Yes.
you clock in at this time, you clock out at this time, and you must work this number of days.
Yeah.
So basically, that time of yours is not your time, it's their time.
It's their time.
Because they're paying you for it. So for me, success to me means that I've got the freedom, I've got the choice, and I've got the time. So I don't owe anyone any time, which is my time. So all the time I have, it's mine. I can do whatever I want with it. So that's what success means to me. And I can tell you, like I said earlier on, Uguti, you can have money and have all these things, fancy cars, fancy houses, fancy whatever, but they might not be really enough to define you as feeling like as if like you're successful, because you'll always want more. But if you are content with the fact that you've got your own time, you've got your own freedom, you've got your own choice, for me it defines success.
So, what role has networking and relationships played in your business journey?
Oh man, it's key. It's key, and it's very crucial. Networking helps because what it does is it exposes you to different fronts of businesses. I can tell you now, I've got a friend of mine. He was my boss previously, Adrian. It's one person that, as much as when we in the office would have our differences and all of that, but me having worked with him and networked with him, it has taught me a lot in the business space, and I'm thankful for people like that. I've got friends who are still working in companies that sometimes they'll say to me, Emana, now I'm in a position where I can make decisions and calls. Please come in and assist us with your services. That's what networking does. It gives you that leverage, and obviously building those relationships with people out there. What it does also is, if Nyazu Moses can do 1, 2, 3, and I know Moses.
Yes.
If I'm sitting somewhere and I hear people talking about what Moses does, it's easy for me to say, hey guys, I know someone. Yeah. I can call Moses. Moses can come and then assist you with this. Oh, here, call this guy. So that's what relationships does, and the networking does, and I don't take it for granted. However, you must also then at the same time learn when you try and network with people that don't really have the time for you, because then it means you shouldn't waste your time on them. And I'm that person, Moses. If ever I feel good, I'm not welcome and you don't deserve my time, I'll cut myself out. I'll cut myself off. But it's important to always network. It's important to always have collaborations with other people, because what collaborations does is it strengthens relationships. That is why in one of my motivational videos, I talk about collaboration, right? Collaboration, basically, what the good thing about it is, number one, you form sort of like a closely knit structure where you are able to support each other, irrespective of what you do. You are able to support each other at different levels, right?
Yeah.
I can support you maybe, for example, with data, because you need data maybe to do this work and do your podcast. And when maybe you support me, for example, now by exposing my brand,
Yes.
that thing, it simply means when you tomorrow you can't, for example, resource your project, let's say now with data, I'm there.
Yes.
And the fact Yoguti, I'm there to assist you, I'm also benefiting out of it. You understand? And then what this also does is it also creates this network in people whereby you know who to go to when you need something, and you can always rely on the next person to carry you if ever you're struggling somewhere.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So outside of being a business, a person and a scientist uhlala nomuntu, right? So lo muntu loyo uyakusupporta ku business oyenzayo na, and kusupporta kanjani?
Yeah 100%. Look, my wife, she's very keen fit, and I think the fortunate part about it is that she's also a scientist, same as me. So what this helps with is, for me, is whenever I walk up to her and I say, look, there's this thing 1 2 3 that needs to be done, I don't have to go in length explaining it, because she understands, number one, the terminology. If I'm talking about a project, she understands what, hey, we have to go do A1, yes. So when I go to her and go like, hey, somebody called us, they need a CPR for a due diligence because there's an investment coming.
Yeah.
She doesn't go like, huh? She understands what I'm talking about. She knows. And then if I say I'm gonna need you to do maybe some auditing or editing of a high level screening report for me, she knows what I'm talking about, which is good. The other thing is, having someone like my wife, I know Guti at this point in time, if I'm not there, she'll always be able to carry some of the things, business wise.
Yes.
Things like if ever maybe somebody comes and they want a quotation, maybe they needs to be invoicing, that needs to be done, how the whole business gets run, because we basically are on the same wavelength. But not only that, but she also understands the difficulties. When I say, okay, now things are a bit difficult because 1 2 3 is happening or 1 2 3 is not happening.
Yes.
So yeah, I think my wife has been very key in terms of assisting and making sure my business, which is our business, is a success. And she obviously understands the ups, the downs, and she understands if I wake up in the morning, I go like, hey, I need to go to Limpopo tomorrow.
Yeah.
She understands why you have to travel to Limpopo. It's not that thing, exactly. Now things like those.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that you are in the same wavelength and same level of understanding what is it that we're trying to achieve. But yeah, she's been very key on supporting.
So please take us back, ne? Ukuthi like uhlangane kanjani nomuntu ohlala naye manje, and because ushadile. I know.
Yeah. No. Yes. I'm married. Yeah, man.
Guys, akekho single.
I know yabonakala na fit.
So take us back ukuthi like nahlangana kanjani naye kuze like nize nigcine nishade.
Yeah.
Nize nibuild a family A1. A1.
Yeah. So how we met, sihlangane eVarsity, ne? We're in the same class at university, and she had studied in another university, and then she moved to we were in the same class, and then it was a person that I obviously saw every day.
Yeah.
And then I obviously took interest on her. And then when I started working, she started working. Yeah, and then it was that thing, I then, because I saw the type of person that she was, during the time while we were still dating, and then a part of me felt, you know what, I need to commit. Yeah, and then I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go and pay lobola. And then when I got one of my bonuses when I was working in at Wheat Bank in the coal mine, I decided I'm just gonna go and pay my lobola. And my brothers, the family, they understood the assignment when I said, hey, guys, we need to drive to KZN to go pay Ilobola. And it was the beginning of a very long journey up to now. So we've been together for more than 10 years. And it's been a journey.
Okay. So, what have you learned about love, commitment, and partnership through a marriage?
Marriage. One thing that I've realized about marriage is, once you commit to marriage, you commit to that person. You must give yourself in to the commitment. And obviously that person being there, meaning that they become a part of you. What I also learned is, in marriage, they say once you are with someone for too long, when Moses shows up, when your wife shows up, we can also see you when you are not even there. It eventually gets to that point whereby you become one to a point to Moses or Moses' wife or my wife wouldn't say things that I wouldn't say, or would necessarily not do things that I wouldn't do. You understand? So in terms of being in love, I mean, guys, being married it's actually a beautiful thing, provided that obviously you are in a marriage that is stable, and the marriage is doing really well, and provided that you understand why you got married in the first place. But let's also not twist it, and I don't want to give the impression that marriage is easy. To be honest, it's not easy, because like I just said earlier, you need to be committed, and you're gonna be exposed at different levels in terms of the type of person that you are. You're gonna be exposed at different levels in terms of how you were brought up and all of that. But being in marriage, in fact, has been great. It obviously has its ups and downs, but I guess what matters is how do you go out of that. Yes, because things will happen. I mean, in any relationship things happen, but I guess what counts is how do you make it out of it, and then you continue from there.
Okay. So how do you balance the demands of being a business person, career, and being present for your family?
And it's tough. It's tough because all those things, they need your time. They need you being present. And when we say time, we're saying, Guti, you have to be there physically. You can't just send something that's gonna replace you. So balancing that, it's a bit difficult, because the other thing, like I mentioned, Guti, I work with my wife. So meaning that I'll be in the office, I'll be in the shop, I'll be in projects. Sometimes she's always there. So you're always seeing this person, but don't let that fool you as being time that you're being present. Everything has got its own time and slot. So
it doesn't mean you're present.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't count. Emana, when you're home, you need to be present being at home, and you being the father in the house. When you are out there and you're doing projects, doing work, it doesn't count. It doesn't really replace the part whereby you need to be present. So it's very difficult, to be honest, because you need, number one, you need to be there for your spouse and the kids at home. At the same time, you having been there, you need to be out there making sure, Guti, you make a living, right? At the same time, you also have this business career and a brand. Because remember now, I'm at a point where I don't see myself as, I'm seeing myself as a brand. Because I am a brand at this point in time. I'm somebody that I know, Guti. I'm no longer just an individual, but I've got this business that I'm running. And this business, wherever I go, I need to present, represent that business. So if I'm out here and I'm doing work, it's work. But when I'm home, then I need to obviously switch to saying, okay, now I'm home. I need to be the father. I need to be the spouse. I need to be the husband. So it doesn't just automatically apply universally. No, we were all in the office today. You can't expect me with must be getting. No, it doesn't work, But yeah, it's, to be honest, it's not easy. It's demanding. Sometimes it's stressing because it's stressful because you also find yourself in a point whereby you feel like you can't keep up. You can't keep up. But I guess that's one of the things that comes with being married and being in marriage. But yeah, it's demanding and it's still doable in a way.
Okay, so what failure or difficult moment taught you the biggest lesson
of my life? Let me think. I think for me, the biggest failure, I was young. I mean, there was a time I was offered a scholarship to go to Japan. Way back. And I wouldn't say it was a failure because of my own doing, but circumstances. Because I remember I applied and then they wanted me to send documents such as my birth certificate, which at the time it wasn't there due to some historical reasons, and they wanted a passport. I didn't have a passport, And that time when it really hit me hard because it was a scholarship for me to go study and stay in Japan at a young age. I think I was in grade 6 or grade 7 at the time. It's around 2000. So for me, and like I'm saying, I was young and it feels like it was a failure because I felt that was a great opportunity that I had. And unfortunately, it didn't come through. So the lesson to that was that, look, if one opportunity goes and you miss out on it, it's not the end. More will come. And like I said, that if you get a no here, it just simply means look elsewhere. And who knows, maybe I would have gone to Japan and I studied something and then I came back. Chances are I wouldn't be sitting here. You understand? So it's a sequence of events that have led from that failure that have made us to be in this room. All of us sitting here in this room. So yeah, I think that was one of the biggest lessons when I failed to secure that scholarship. To say, you know what, maybe life just doesn't like me. But I mean, now I know what, it's opportunities just come and go. And it depends where you are at that particular time in terms of the outcome.
Okay, so what keeps you motivated when things become very challenging?
Motivation. What keeps me motivated is, I guess, the solace of knowing that I've got my own brains to think and maneuver myself out of situations. I'm not saying I'm not worried about a catastrophic event that will turn my world upside down. Anything can happen. But what really keeps me going is knowing that tomorrow will be another day, another chance, and tomorrow will be better than today. That's really what keeps me going. And this is one thing that I also tell my son every night before I put him to bed. I say to him, today is gone, but tomorrow is coming and will be a better day. Because I genuinely believe that today might not work out as you wanted, but you still have tomorrow. You know,
still have a chance.
you still have a chance. I mean, if you're still alive, you still have a chance. Tomorrow it's another day whereby you can try again. So meaning that don't give up just because today didn't work out. You keep going, you keep trying. You never know what will happen tomorrow.
Okay, bafethu lana sine co-host, sihle co-host, photographer. So sihle, wena ngathi phakamisa isandla ukhona question ofanele.
Okay, ngathanda ukwazi ukuthi ukhethethu umuntu wase-OTR ngithi ngicela ukwazi ukuthi okay shabu OTR kuwe wafika engqondweni ukuthi uqabange OTR.
OTR. Yeah, ne. That's a good question. If you remember, I mentioned ukuthi I work with my wife. Obviously, we managing the businesses together. In fact, this was her idea because I had come up with the name. I don't remember what was the name for the business, but OTR, if you check, there's the name rocks there. It tells you immediately what there's geologists involved. I'd like to think, but the name that we threw around was Majwing, because we came with the name OTR and she was like, no, why don't you change it either in Sotho or Zulu? And then I said Majwing, but to me it didn't really give me sort of like a rhyme. So On the Rocks came up, but then we didn't want to say On the Rocks. We just decided to say, nah, let's call it OTR because it's On the Rocks. Yeah. But yeah, it was obviously a concerted concerted effort and collaboration between myself and my wife, and yeah, thanks to her, because I don't think we'd have come up with the name OTR. Chances are I would have come up with a very weird name. And again, just to maybe now that I remember, so OTR, the business did not start exactly as business to purify, filter and bottle water. It initially started as a business to sell alcohol, and there was sort of like an introspection in a way to say, how is this going to change things, ekas, by selling alcohol, selling utshwala, you know? And I think it dawned to me, for me to build a community, I need to come up with a business that will enhance, that will promote a healthy lifestyle. And I thought, man, elokishini, you hardly find shops. I've never seen a lokishini where you find a shop that's selling purified water. I mean, purified water is much more healthier than the water that you drink from the taps, believe it or not. But the water that you drink from the tap is not that great. It's not good. It's drinkable because it's certified as drinkable. But purified water, basically, it tastes better. Some of the creepy elements have been removed. I'm not gonna go into details in terms of what, because then it's gonna be a hullabaloo in terms of the technical aspects of it. But I thought Guti come up with something that will enhance and promote a healthy living. The other thing that I know is abantu lokishini, nobody thinks about drinking water because either nobody cares about that. But then once you start seeing with lapha bathengisa amanzi, it's 1 rand a liter, anali ishumi ngizolenza ni ishumi, maybe I'll start buying ithingo buy amanzi, I'll start buying amaskopasi ishumi ebili. You know, so I might as well buy amanzi. And we've seen, and here's the other thing that we've done. We track our customers. We try and see who's coming to the shop, and I can tell you now, it is actually working, because the fact that people are coming to buy a water, it's telling me, at least I know somebody today drank water. And we are humble yet doctor tatum come it and that's the first thing they'll tell you, you know. But then if a day has gotten puza 1 liter, 2 liter yan, doctor has in fact puza mans are filtered, purified. So my problem is not a good thing puza mans. So yeah, when I say thanks for the question, but yeah, that's how it started On the Rocks. It was basically a terminology that comes from alcohol. When you buy in a bar, you'll buy a gin, a tonic, and then mabafagama ice, but it's On the Rocks. you know. So that was all alcohol up until we got to a point where like, nah, alcohol is not gonna work. Let's just do something that promotes a healthy living and healthy vibes, which is the slogan.
Okay, that things like no to explain like you have to speak and what is when we don't have to purify water is kanjani akhuwe kanjani amanzi asepopini kuyathi usichazisele ukuthi okay sharp amanzi asepopini ne-purify water ukuthi i-different yakhona ikuphi.
Okay, sure. So purified water, it's a process, ne? Ngizocala ngi-explain it from the process. So a process of purified water, you take the water, you take them through filtration, and then you use the process called reverse osmosis, right? Reverse osmosis basically is just a biological term that is used to say you put this water through a process of when you contaminate, to decontaminate the water basically. So you remove all the impurities. For example, there's this what is called TDS, total dissolved solids. Total dissolved solids in our water, currently it's this bottle is sitting at 22 milligrams per liter. But if you go and you take the water in the tap, it will probably be sitting at around 80, 90. Now, here's the difference. Amanzi laba wathumela from, I know that we are supplied by that tank at Pambridge, coming to us here. They travel through our pipes. Some of these pipes are more than 30 years old. So as the water travels in there, there's rust. There's also chemicals that the municipality adds in those big tanks to make sure amanzi are not contaminated. And as this water travels towards you, as a apume empompini la where you're drinking them from, they already have impurities. The municipality has made sure that by the time it gets to you, it's still drinkable according to the required standards. But mawathatha lamanzi lawo watesta, you will realize ukuthi you find ukuthi some of the sulfates, the manganese, the sodium, the calcium carbonate is still high for consumption. That is why in other areas maphuza amanzi abantu bakhona ukuthi amazinyo are stained. They've got stains on the teeth. You find ukuthi ikasi lonke abantu bakhona amazinyo abo stained. It's because of the water that they're drinking. So it means ukuthi amanzi are purified once we put them through the process, reverse osmosis, the purification, the filtering processes. You remove all those impurities. The rust you remove, the sediments as well, inhlabathi that gets carried through the pipes as the water. You don't see it because it's too small, it's too fine. So if all that material is removed, once you put it in this bottle and you put it next to number one, the clarity as well, this water will be much more clearer than la manzi lawa owaphuzayo from impompini. So that is the difference. Once you purify the water, you remove all these other contaminants, the sediments. There's also bacteria in there which would normally live through the pipes, the old pipes, none. So that's what makes the difference between purified water and the water that you drink from the tap.
Okay, Mr. Slebe. Sathanda ukuthi manje utshela ababukile ekhaya ukuthi wena utholakala kuphi via all social media or address, phone number, abakudinga ukuthi manje wazi ukuthi ama-purifier ukuthi utholakala.
Yeah. So we've got a Facebook page. It's called OTR Brands. We're calling it brands because the vision here is we're not gonna only stick to water. We wanna obviously diversify our product offering. But for now, the Facebook page is called OTR Brands. We've got our number there on the OTR Brands. And then we also have a WhatsApp number. The number is also there on the Facebook page. And we also have a website. Now, how to find our website? There's this barcode here. If you have a phone and you point your camera here, it will pick up this barcode. As soon as you say it must open the link, it's going to take you to our website. Our website as well also has the number that you can call us if you want to order, or if you have any questions, you can find us on the website as well.
Yeah, hello, lena OTR Brands, ne? It's a filtered purified water. Yeah, bengicela uwatheste uzwe ukuthi anjani owarate 0 to 10.
They taste nice, fresh.
Fresh, ne? Yeah.
Because I have my tap water.
Yeah.
But this tastes
Different.
better.
Okay. So it's 18 rand 5 liter. Yeah. So we're going to place the order.
So this is very nice.
Okay.
I could recommend this to everyone.
All right. Thank you. Okay, baby.
Bye.
Hi, kunjani?
Ngiyaphila njani?
Ngiyaphila le OTR Brands nengicela ukuthelela yona ngicela uyi-rate 0 to 10.
Hayi, it's a 10. Tell
It's a 10 ne?
Hayi, tell
Yeah, bengiqela uplace i-order nami scoop is 5 liter scoop it's 18 rand then i-refill 5 rand.
with more scoop.
Yeah, mawune scoop yeah.
Oh, okay. OTR Brands. I'm on some nandi. I'm
Amnandi.
like a hey, I'm selling okugcina. Manje aphelile.
Eh?
Aphelile.
No, iyo la
Usebenzisa
ukugcina iscoop 18 rand.
Awungiphi esiphelile?
Asiphelile le nginawo ama-order. Okay, yeah ngizokuthelela ngizokuthelela.
Ungiphathele-ke kusasa.
Alright, sharp. Kanye kunjani? Sure khanya. Okay, le OTR Brands ngicela ukuthelela yona ne. Cela uyi-rate 0 to 10 test.
It's alright. That is good.
It's good ne.
I can say 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 ne. Yeah. Bengicela uplace i-order now.
No problem.
It's 18 rand i-5 liter. Then when you refill it's 5 rand.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Hi,
Hi, kunjani? Sharp. Okay, le i-OTR Brands ne. Yiyo la manzi ngicela ukuthelela yona ngicela rate 0 to 10.
I think 11.
11.
11. Yeah.
Amnandi.
I'm 9. They're very purified.
Okay. Yawo ngawashawa qeda.
Wonke ne?
Yeah.
Because ngiyakwazi ukuthi no.
Do you still need more?
I actually want more. Yes, fine.
Okay. Alright ne.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Hi, kunjani? Sharp. Lana ngiphethe i-OTR Brands ne. Yiyo le ngicela ukuthelela yona ngicela uyi-rate 0 to 10.
Nine.
9. Okay, anjani la manzi lawo? Amnandi ne. It's very nice. Alright, thank you. Do you still need more? You want more? Okay, you can refill. Eita. Alright. Sure, bafethu. Na i-co-host yami ngimtestisa amanzi OTR Brands. Ungayirate 0 to 10 test.
10. I rated 10.
10. Recommend.
Yeah, I'd recommend it. It's very refreshing.
Yeah, because this scoop place it's 18 rand ne, 5 liter. Then uyabuya uzorefilla nge-5 rand. So bengicela ufake i-order.
Okay, akunankinga ngizothatha i2.
Uzathatha i-2.
Ngizothatha i2.
Alright.
Like I like the way it flows down the throat. It's very refreshing. OTR Brands, try it out.
Sure. Hi Lerato.
Hi, Mrs.
Njani?
Shabana.
Sharp. Lena i-OTR Brands iyo le ngicela ukuthelela yona ne. Yeah, bengicela uyi-rate 0 to 10.
0 to 10, okay. Clear, tasty, and it's 9 to 10.
9 to 10.
10, yeah.
Okay, amanzi anjani like compared to amanzi asempompini?
No, they don't taste like test water, they are purified water.
Okay, they are purified. All right, thank you very much. Sure, do you still need some?
Danko. Please add more.
Okay, hi, Kamugunjani. Yeah, Lena OTR Brands, ne? OTR Brands, it's a filtered, purified water. So, bengicela uyi-rate 0 to 10. Yeah, ngaphuza test. 10 out of 10. Siyabonga. Sharp. So, you still need more? Okay. Hi, ninjani maqulu? Ngiyaphila. Okay, lena i-OTR Brands engicela ukuthelela yona ne. So bengicela uyirate out of 10, 0 to 10.
A 9.
9. Okay. Reason? Nice, ne? Clock it, baby. Ngiyaphila. Okay, lena i-OTR Brands ila manzi ngiqeda ukuthelela wona ne. So waphuzile. Wathastile. Ya bengicela uwaphuze ne. Okay, bengicela ungiratele wona 0 to 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 ne. Yeah, alright, ngiyabonga. Compared to amanzi waphuzayo empompini la ungawa recommend ukuthi ngawaphuza every day.
Then the dispenser. I recommend Moses Brands.
Alright, thank you very much. Sure.
From 0 to?
From 0 to 10. Okay, lena OTR Brands le ngicede ukuthelela yona we rate kanjani 0 to 10.
Give it an 8.
Give it a 8. Okay, compared to amanye amanzi waphuzayo nalawa unga recommend amaphi?
Loud.
Lawa. Alright, sharp.
They test.
Okay, lana ngiphethe i-OTR Brands. Yeah, njengoba ngicede ukuthelela, how would you rate i-OTR Brands? I-purified water. Nice, ne?
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Alright, I thank you very much. Sharp. Yeah, sure, proceed. Yeah, it's very OTR Brands, mo, ne?
Sure.
Yeah, ne kopa uyi rate 0 out of 10.
Ke 10, ke straight 10.
Ke straight 10, ne?
Straight 10.
Yeah, utsho ke vate sharp. By purify ko kasi mfethu. Sure.
Ke quality.
Ke quality, ne?
Ke quality.
Alright, sharp. Hey, hi, unjani? Yeah, lana ngiphethe i-OTR Brands on the rocks, ne? Yeah, njengoba ngikuthelele bengicela urate lamanzi lawa 0 out of 10. Yeah?
100 out of 100.
100. Asibonga. Hello, yeah, la ngiphethe i-OTR Brands. OTR Brands is a purified water. So ngicela uyirate 0 out of 10.
100.
100.
100.
Clock it, baby.
Clock it. 100.
Siyabonga. Ungawa recommend lamanzi lawa for ikas njengoba apurify ikas.
Wonke umuntu. It's nice.
Thank you. Hi, kunjani?
I'm good. How are you?
Sharp. Yeah, la ngiphethe i-OTR Brands, ne?
Okay.
Yeah, so njengoba ngikuthelele, how would you rate OTR Brands 0 out of 10?
No, okay. Let me taste it. Is it okay if I taste it first?
Yes, please.
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Okay.
There's a difference between namanzi lawa na lawa. Lawa wakhekazi lawa and yabona ukuthi angakaphuza kayi-1.
Yeah.
This is good actually. 9 out of 10.
So you recommend lamanzi lawa?
Highly recommended.
Alright. Thank you very much. Sharp. Hi, Thobeka, kunjani? Ngiyaphila i-OTR Brands yiwo lamanzi lawa engicede ukuthelela wona bengicela uwa-rate 0 to 10.
Out of 10.
Yeah.
It's 9.
It's 9.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
anjani?
why.
Yeah.
Because nothing is perfect.
Okay. Alright, but wena mnandi?
Amnandi.
Ne?
Macedele?
Yeah, waqedela still want some more?
Yeah, it's so
Okay. Hi Sharon, kunjani? Ngiyaphila. Yazi lana ngithestisa amanzi ne i-OTR Brands ne. Yeah, ngicela uyirate 0 to 10 uyiphuze kuqala then uzongitshela.
Solid 10.
10.
Tastes very clean.
Very clean ne? Compared to a tap water.
Yeah, and it's refreshing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So can you kindly buy one for me? I have a small
How much
bottle
is
for 5 rand. I mean, yeah, it's 5 rand. It's 5 rand. It's 5 rand. It's 5 rand. Yeah.
So it's called the OTR Brands.
Yes.
Make your own guys so you can lick with the fresh like me.
Thank you so much. Okay. Hi, Tolujang. Sharp. Okay, ki OTR Brands, ne? Yeah, ki OTR Brands. Ki purified water. So ne kupa uyi rate 0 to 10.
Drive 100 out of 10.
I'm not, ne? Taste better. Alright, yeah, 18 rand 5 liter, ne? Then kinali scoop esinyani. Scoop esinyani kise. So na ki 5 rand. Ki di best fela, ne? Alright, akiyalebo, sharp. Hi Sharon, kunjani? Ngiyaphila. Yazi lana ngitestisa amanzi ne i-OTR Brands ne. Yeah, ngicela uyirate 0 to 10 uyiphuze kuqala then uzongitshela.
Solid 10.
10.
Tastes very clean.
Very clean ne? Compared to a tap water.
Yeah, and it's refreshing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So can you kindly buy one for me? I have a small bottle for 5 rand. I mean, yeah, it's 5 rand. It's 5 rand. It's 5 rand. It's 5 rand. Yeah.
So it's called the OTR Brands.
Yes.
Get your own guy so you can lick with the flesh like me.
Thank you so much. Okay. Hi Thobeka, kunjani? Ngiyaphila i-OTR Brands yiwo lamanzi lawa engiceda ukuthelela wona bengicela wa-rate 0 to 10.
Out of 10?
Yeah.
It's 9.
It's 9.
Yeah.
Okay, anjani? Yeah.
Because nothing is perfect.
Okay. Alright, but when I'm mnandi?
I'm not.
Ne? Yeah, waqedela still want some more?
Yeah, it's so
Okay.
Hi everyone, Aman. Amos, you want to take it?
Yebo, it's
Okay.
18 rand 5 liter.
18 rand, 5 liter. Ndithethile ipake into ke isigubhu esi-1. Ndawathesta ndifuna ukuwava. Uyazenzela mos lamanzi?
Yebo, siyawayenza siyawabheka siwaqala from the scratch.
Okay, ithi ndiwatheste. Wathenga noTomi. Tomi seke wathengile nangawam uthi ndiwave ke. Hayi ngawo shem. 10 out of 10 siyawathatha.
So bafethi igama lami nguMoses, lena isisonke podcast network. Bafethi ngizonishare i-QR code ukuthi nisikene ngamafoni bafethu ye on the rocks. For ukuthi uplace i-order ngoba amanzi abalulekile and it's convenient. Mawabheka lesigubhu lesi bafethu every day movuka ekuseni udonsa isigubhu esi-1. Akusafani nakudala ukuthi uzokokota emzini yabantu ucela amanzi. Nezinja la ngaphandle and futhi njengoba sichazelile ukuthi lena i-purified water ayifani namanzi asempompini. Amapipe wakhona awaseviswa dala hleli aneminyaka bawafakile la emalokishini and akazi sibone netruck eyi-1 izoshintsha ama-pipes. So bafethu lama-pipe lawa njengoba siwabona ngoba kunama-pipe lama-pipe ayaseviswa each and every day. And manje enye advantage yokuthi uphuze amanzi a-healthy a-right for umzimba wakho bafethu. So bafethu ngibonge kakhulu igama lami nguMoses, lena isisonke podcast network. Until next time bafethu, sharp.
Thank you.